What's up, Gary Simon here of Slant Audio with yet another Pantera solo. I've been on a big Pantera kick lately, and as always, we're going to be covering both left and right hand technique as it pertains to playing this and any problem areas that I encountered as well. So let's go ahead and get started, but first, make sure to subscribe. All right, so here is section 1. Okay, so let's start off with the very beginning, which is a bend. And we're playing 2 notes at once. So the 15th on your third finger on the B string, and then also the 14th on the G string with your middle finger. So these two right here. And we bend up on the G string. Now, when you bend up, you'll notice that the B sounds flat. So if you listen to it carefully, especially at the top of the bend, you'll hear it go flat. Right there. And that's because we're just adjusting, or we're affecting the string tension. So if I only play that B string, so to counteract that, you can place your palm on your bridge and press it a little bit to counteract. So doing the same thing. So I'm just pressing down a little bit. All right, right after that, keeping your third finger there on the 15th fret of the B, just some wide vibrato. And then we go straight into this section right here. All right, so what that is, we have our index finger on the 12th of the B, and then also back on the 15th of the G with our third finger. And I have an upstroke here on the B, downstroke on the B, or rather G, sorry. So we start off. All right, so when we get back here to that 4th note, here on the G string, I think I was screwing up some of the notes initially, sorry about that. We're going to pull off on a series of notes, so we're going to go 15, 14, 12, 14, 15. So all right, now you could, if you wanted to, do a downstroke right when you get to the 15th, like this. But I believe the way he plays it is they're all pull-offs and hammer-ons. So again. And then when you do that, we have on the E string 12 with your index finger. So again, starting here, we're starting upstroke. An upstroke as well on this 12th of the E. Then we also have 15, 14, and 12 on the B. Oops, I was incorrect. It's 15 and 12 on the B. All right, so starting from the beginning again. So that's a pull off, and that's also an upstroke. So I have 2 upstrokes. So upstroke, upstroke, pull off the 12 on the B, and then right back to the same situation on the G. We're on 15, 14, 12, 14, 15. So up, up, pull off, and downstroke, pull offs, and then do that same thing again. And then this time, at the second time you do it, you end here, and then you do a pull here on 14 on the E. So that whole part. And also, if you listen to the original track where he's doing the solo, by the way, you can find the original Dimebag solo isolated on that track, just the guitar itself if you YouTube it. You'll hear it's very, very clean. So it's very important to try to get all those notes not to bleed through, and also have proper left hand and right hand muting technique. So one thing that I found to be helpful is having the index finger sort of touch this G string even when you're not playing it, because it will tend to ring out. So if you look at my index finger, you'll see it doesn't move too much throughout that entire run. Okay, all right, so now on to part 2. So after you do the bend, then you do, so that's a hammer-on from 12 to 14 on the E. And then we take our middle finger, or not our middle finger, our third finger, on the 15th of the G string, or no, the B string, and we bend up. All right, so then we do another, right after that bend here, we do another hammer-on from 12, except this time it's on the 16th that we hammer onto. So from the beginning. So you do another bend, same location there on the B, 15. And then you, right when you're at that bend, you hit 12, which is an upstroke on the E. And then bend again. So really slow. Okay, so now section 3, basically, we start off with, let me just play it through slowly here. All right, so what that is, we have a downstroke here on the E on 12, and a hammer-on, and a pull-off here on 16. All right, so that's, I'm just using my picking finger for that. And then this third finger is now freed up on the 15th of the B string. And that's a downstroke. So 2 downstrokes, down. You could do up here if you wanted to on the initial stroke. All right, so then you come right back to the 12 and 16, and you hammer on that twice after hitting this 15 here. So all right, so the picking for that, we do hammer on here, downstroke, and then we do a downstroke here on the 12, and then I do an immediate upstroke, and then downstroke. Oops. All right, so after that, we go back to 15 on the B, and then we hit 12 once again on the E. So far. Then we go back to 15 here on the B, and pull off here to 12. And then we go to 15 on the G, and then we go back to 12 on the B, and then we go back to 12, or 15 rather, on the G, and then I do a pull off here to 15, 14, and 12. So after we have this, the pull off here, we hit 14 here on the D string, and that's a downstroke and then an upstroke, and we use the same finger right here, 14 on the G. All right. So you go go back and forth. Up, down, up. And then you hit 12 here on the G string. And when you hit this, which is an upstroke on the 12 of the G string, you're hammering on to 13. And you're doing wide vibrato with that. All right, so what that is after that initial vibrato, he does this. And that's simply hammering on to from 12 to 13 on the G, and it's just a pull off. And then on the third finger, you're hitting 14 on the D string, and then upstroke, back to 12, hammer on to 13. All right, so we'll go to that part so far. So he'll do another vibrato right there as well. And then he finally goes. And what I'm doing back there is I have the tremolo bar in the inverse position, and I'm pulling down. And that will pull it up. So you're bending as well as pushing down. So this is a floating bridge, obviously, not a Floyd Rose, but if I go all the way down, I can reach the note that I need to reach for that. And you can do the vibrato with the tremolo bar, or you can do it with up here as well with your fingers. All right. After that, then we have this. All right, so that's a slide up here on the B string all the way to 17. And it's immediate, so it's a downstroke, then an upstroke on the 15th of the E. So it's, all right, and you stop the note immediately once you arrive at it. So it's, all right, so that's, again, 15 rather, on the E. And then I just use the middle finger for the next three notes, and that is 17, 18, 19 with vibrato immediately. All right, so the next section. All right, so what that is we have the G and the B string, and I use my index finger, and we hit them both at the same time with the downstroke here on the 5th fret. All right, and you're just bending it slightly. Then that frees up your middle finger here for the 7th. So that's just going 7-5-7 in vibrato at the end there. Then we have this little run. All right, so we're using a middle finger here on the 8th fret of the E, and we are downstroking when we have a hammer on and we're pulling off from 8, 9 to 5. So, and then we use the middle finger here on the 7th fret, here on the B string, and we're doing the same thing. We're going to do a downstroke, hammer on, here to 8, pull off, back to 7, and then 5. All right. And so this one right here, right after this. So that's 6 hammer or downstroke with a hammer on, pull off to from 7 here to 5. And make sure you do your vibrato here on the index finger on the 5th fret. So once again. All right, after that, then we do here on the third finger here on the 7th fret of the G string. All right, so you're just doing 2 downstrokes, and make sure you're muting the other strings because I tend to just rake through them. All right, and you're just doing 2 bends. And you're just coming back down to 5 with more vibrato. So then we have this fun part. So you're here on the 5th fret of the G string, and we're going to stay on this G string. And we're going to take our other arm and using my middle finger will be on the 2nd fret. Let me adjust myself so you can see this. So this is the 2nd fret right here, and this is where I'm at on the 5th fret of the other hand. I'm going to pull off or pull down, all right, and just basically slide up. Here's what this part sounds like, by the way. So let's do the previous part. All right. So again, we're here, pull off, we're on the 2nd fret and middle finger of the other string. Now, when I'm going slow like that, the notes are attending, or the other strings are bleeding through a little bit, but when you're going faster, you don't really hear it. So again. So you do that basically 4 times. And really, I bring this hand up to around 14, around there, just as long as it's in that general vicinity. So at the end of the last one, you hit the again, we're on our index finger, we're on the 14th fret, and we're giving it vibrato. One thing that might be difficult for some of you when it comes to getting that vibrato on that last slide is you want to make sure that you're changing the position of your hand so that you can get more like this as opposed to being like this. So just practice transitioning from this sort of hand position into this, to where you feel the back of the neck on this portion of your hand. It'll make doing the vibrato that much easier. All right, so then once you're after there, we have this part. We slide up. All right, so we're sliding up here to the 9th fret of the G string. And then we are, and that's a downstroke, by the way, an upstroke here on the 10th fret of the B string. And then we're doing a downstroke, pull off from 9 to 8, back on the G string. So, and then we use this middle finger, or the 3rd finger rather, to hit right back on the same fret on the B string, which is the 10th. Upstroke, downstroke, and we slide back up, and we just repeat that. So it sounds like this. All right. After that, we have this. All right, so that looks like we're sliding up here on the B string on the 9th fret. And that's a downstroke. Up on the 10th fret of the E. Then we have a downstroke right back on the 9th fret of the B string, and then we slide up to 12. And then we do an upstroke here on the 13th fret of the E. And it follows that same pattern where this finger is going to be 1 fret up on the E string. Then we go to 15. Then we go to 18. And then we have 21. Once we get here on 21, we're going to go back and forth a few times. And then finally, we bend up. All right, now when we bend up, this is what it sounds. Let me go through this whole part all the way to the very end here. Then we take our tremolo arm here while that is bent up. And then we can pick the bottom 2 or the bottom 3 strings that are all kind of jumbled up here while we are bent up. And we just pick down. That's it. So let's hear that whole thing again. And that is it. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I wasn't too painful when I'm trying to tell you which exact notes to go on. I'm still trying to improve in that regard. Anyhow, if you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon. Goodbye.